2, 1. Keep this in. Hi there. Are you really going to talk over me on my
I thought we'd all do. I thought all three of us
on
would
my
do it at the same
own
time.
show?
Okay.
My own. We're a team.
Wow.
What happened to the
Okay, Peter.
friendship circle?
See, I'm really excited about being 2 episodes in and already causing dramatic tension that will inevitably rip us apart
Right.
by episode 3.
One of us is just gone in episode 3.
This is more comfortable.
This is very comfortable.
Hi, Peter.
Hey, August.
How do you feel?
Hey, Pat.
Hello.
We're here to talk about the Yu-Gi-Oh! This is Heart of the Cards, as we have decided to call it. And here we are, recapping episode 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! A frankly reckless episode of television.
It's like generous.
Yeah.
It was really generous. Like, I don't know if any of us, including me, were expecting this from episode 2.
Well, where do we think that the show's going to go from here? Portion of our episode 1 recap wasn't as correct as we were
It's a
hoping
little
it
wrong.
to be.
It was everything that I was hoping it would be, of you just being like, yeah, adventures, and like, no.
Normal formulaic plot.
No,
Not
this
the case.
this episode goes hard as hell, and it did not need to. So why don't you say we jump right into it? So, the bizarre thing about the way this episode opens is it starts with a recap that really should have happened in episode 1.
That's what I was thinking.
Because, so it talks about, like, in ancient Egypt, there were shadow games, and there were millennium items, and magic, and stuff. And it's like, okay, so now we know Yugi's Millennium Puzzle is, like, an ancient Egyptian artifact, and that's why he gets big. Still really pretty vaguely explained, but at least there's, like, something there. So you're not just like, why did Yugi grow like 4 feet and have a deeper voice?
Still many questions.
There are a lot of questions, but
something.
it's a wild thing to open episode 2 with, you know? So,
Strong move on the writer's part. It's a power move.
it is a power move to just throw your audience to the wolves,
Yeah.
and then be like, oh, we should probably explain something, but not a ton.
Just a little bit. Beginning of the episode, you could miss it, honestly, if you tuned in late.
Yeah, like if you're like, oh, cool, the credits song. You have no idea about ancient Egypt.
Probably didn't miss anything, because it's like opening credits.
So that's how this episode decides to open. Really, just kind of. I feel like it's a great intro because it's just so laissez-faire about here's magic, and it's like, oh, okay. So
I guess this could stop time, from what I know.
well, we'll get into it.
Okay.
We're not gonna
That
jump.
could be like an earth-shattering power.
We're not gonna get too
Really?
far ahead of ourselves. We will discuss the power of the Millennium items.
Yeah, you're getting pretty far.
Yeah, I'm really jumping.
August, calm.
Sorry.
We haven't even made it.
Simmer down.
We haven't even made it back to the theme song.
We haven't made it back to the theme song. I have a note here. Theme still slaps. Thoughts?
Yep.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. Icon. So episode opens. Everyone's back in school, kind of like the last episode. Joey's still
Almost exactly like the last episode.
Almost.
I almost
Yeah.
thought I was watching.
Yeah, me
Raw.
too. I was like, is this the same?
It's such a weird like framing device because it's so ancillary to the rest of this story, but they keep going back to it.
Well, it does establish that Joey sucks at duel monsters.
Joey does suck at duel
Yeah.
monsters. Thank you for bringing that up. He's dueling Taya, who exists, Friendship Circle. And he goes, my Rocco is gonna knock your block off. And it's like got 800 attack points. And it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It just isn't Joey. Like, he's just really not grasping it.
It seems like no one really explained the rules to Joey. They were just like, play, and then they just like make fun of him for not knowing.
Honestly, pretty much, because we get into it a little bit later, but he just legitimately doesn't understand the rules of this, frankly, not very complicated game. Yeah. At one point he goes...
It gets more complicated in this episode, though.
It does!
Yeah.
We do introduce new elements, which again, is frankly baffling that haven't been introduced before, but...
There's a few bafflings in this episode.
This whole episode is a whole lot. I really appreciate when Joey says, "Give it up."
Joey's voice actor is like
He's
great.
He is going
They all
for
ham
it.
it up so hard.
And then he just immediately loses the duel. So Joey, feeling a little bit sad about his loss to Taya, who's barely a character, is sitting with Yugi on the playground, and
the pull-up bars.
yeah, the pull-up bars, really kind of dramatically showing the difference in height between Yugi and Joey. Joey's like 4 feet taller than him,
Yeah.
which is upsetting. So we find out that Joey's deck is just full of monster cards, and he doesn't have any magic or trap cards, which, kind of goes back to your theory that, like, no one actually explained how this game works, or people did, and he was just like, I need my monster cards.
Yeah.
And
well,
it's
even
like,
at this time, I don't think they've mentioned that trap cards exist. And even
No.
Yugi was like, you need magic cards, and trap cards still very much a mystery.
yeah, they're pretty much making it up as they go.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I wonder if like they started writing it and then like the people who were making the cards, like the company was like, oh, we need to include like these kind of cards and these kind of cards, and the writers were like, oh.
I should have done more research, because I want to say the card... No, I guess maybe the anime came first. I'm not actually sure.
I
It
feel
seems
it
like
was
one of those
probably,
things
like,
that
2 and
would
2.
have,
Yeah.
like, let's do this together
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make a show that's for us to sell cards.
But it's like, they don't acknowledge it early in the episode, but they do later in the episode.
Multiple times.
Multiple times. Like, they bring it up as if the audience is supposed to know about it first, and then they show off what it does. So,
Yep.
It's a very well-written card game. It's very good. So, yeah, Joey's deck is frankly awful. It's full of monster cards, and, like, none of them are good. The ones that they show have, like, 500 attack points. And Joey should know this is bad. Like,
Yeah.
Joey should know he has bad cards. Like, nobody should have to tell him that he's bad at this game. But Yugi does, and so they decide to enlist the help of Yugi's grandpa. So they run to Grandpa's shop. Again,
Grandpa
this
is my favorite character in the show.
Wow.
So
Grandpa...
I have some theories about Grandpa.
Okay.
Okay. Again, this is like the same formula as the last episode of, like, opens with school, brief discussion about card game, Grandpa's
Grandpa.
shop. So,
Which is what I was expecting.
Duel.
yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
really seen any surprises other than
Yeah.
that weird, like, shadowy ancient Egypt part at the very beginning.
Which is, like, a really weird... I mean,
But
I
then-
guess Kaiba got mind crushed in the last episode.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But we're up until now, we're still proceeding to what I expected prediction wise.
Yeah, like this is going to be the formula that every episode follows. Like,
Yeah.
they do a little duel, go to Grandpa's, and then there's a duel that happens that's significant.
Some kind of adventure.
Yes.
Mild adventure.
It's mild. Not so much. So, they head to Grandpa's shop. Joey basically has to beg Grandpa to train him. Grandpa
Well,
says...
so this is... I had a problem with this because at first he goes to the shop.
Yeah.
And Joey's kind of a dick to Grandpa.
Yeah.
And is like, Grandpa offers to train him. Joey's like, screw you. And then Grandpa's like, alright, I'm not going to train you. And Joey's like, actually, forget that. I want to be trained.
Yeah, this whole scene radiates a very strange energy. The way that it kind of like pinballs back and forth. Grandpa says Duel Monsters is a very complex game, and I've written, is it though?
Incorrect.
It's
Nope.
not.
Furthermore, Yugi's advice to you of you should have magic cards and monster cards should conclude the training that you require
Yeah.
to master this game.
Right, like,
At least in the game as it exists so far in the series.
right, because the rules change pretty dramatically later on that actually do make it a more interesting game to watch.
Well, even later in this episode.
Yeah.
They just start being randomly, inexplicably different.
Yeah. Yeah, the rules of this game are not exactly always...
They're ill-defined.
They're
at
ill-defined, and even then, the characters still find ways to break the rules.
Yeah.
So, these are our heroes. So Grandpa's like really intense about this. Yes, can you name the most powerful duel monster? It's like, I guess it's probably Exodia, but that's just like a weird thing to start out with. And then here, do you even know what a trap card is? And it's like, we don't know what a trap card
Yeah,
is.
please explain.
Like, what? I don't know. This whole scene is just really weird. Like, it's so intense. I'm gonna move on. So we do a little time skip. Joey's been training with Grandpa for a little bit. Joey cannot even stay awake because he's been training so dang hard. And so everyone's watching the regional.
This was like a hard cut. I didn't know it was just like training, and then it's just like hard cut to the stadium.
Yeah, there's no like training montage or anything. Nope. We just are told that this is happening.
Quite vigorous, apparently.
Apparently, like, I really don't know what this training is. I think it's probably for the best that I don't know what this training involves, because I literally don't even, like, okay, you play a monster card, and it has a lot of attack points, and then you win, and magic cards exist.
And trap cards.
And trap cards. We sort of almost got there. So everyone's up in, I think, the attic of the game shop, which is where
another question I had, is where are they?
Yes, so Yugi lives in the attic of the game shop.
Okay.
And he's got a sick little CRT for playing his Nintendo 64 games. And they're all watching the regional championship. One thing I really like about this, the announcer is obviously Kaiba's voice actor, doing a very slight affectation away from Kaiba.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
You should rewatch that scene because it's like very clearly him. Because back in the day there were like 3 voice actors doing dubs for anime. I don't know. I just thought that was fun. So the championship round between, do you remember their names?
Someone's name was like, it was wild. It was like Weasel or something.
That's the bug guy.
Yeah.
That's the bug guy.
You're so close.
It's something very close. Yeah, it's something very close to that.
He had a really strange... I wrote it down.
And his voice was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's very accurate. And then the dinosaur guy. I don't know his name.
Yes, the duelists are Weevil Underwood.
Weevil. There you go.
And Rex Raptor.
Rex Raptor.
So, quick... let's see. Where are my notes? Yeah, so that brings up an interesting point. So, we're left to assume that these are their real names.
And not like stage names.
Not like duelist names.
Yeah. So, there are 2 possibilities. Their parents hate them. A very distinct possibility based on their voices, appearance,
especially
actions.
Weevil.
Yeah.
Weevil, boy, I would hate that child.
He's not doing himself any
Weevil,
favors when
no.
he dresses either. Like,
my bags!
It's just... Yes.
I feel like that's a really good impression.
That's quite accurate.
I should be doing these voices. Either their parents hate them or they designed their theme decks around their horrible names because, like, you gotta make lemonade somehow.
I kind of think that's what it was.
Yeah.
In this world that oddly revolves enormously around this card game.
Apparently, although...
I think Rex Raptor was like, well, I'm locked into this. I gotta do it.
This is my lot in life. This is what they have done to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Rex Raptor is barely a name. Like, Weevil Underwood shows, like, malicious intent. Rex Raptor is like, we just give up.
Yep.
And Joey's like, it should be me in there. And it's like, dog, you can't even stay awake. Also, you're still very bad at this card game.
We assume.
He gets better, spoilers, but at this point, I really don't have a lot of faith in Joey. Nothing, like, he still just has... No. Joey's the worst. So Grandpa comes up, and there's a mysterious package for Yugi Moto from Industrial Illusions, the maker of Duel Monsters. That's a great name for the company, Industrial Illusions.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we know at this point, but that is Maximilian Pegasus's company.
I think we know.
We probably.
I think they state it shortly afterwards, or when he comes up.
I think they
definitely
Yeah.
They bring it up later in the episode for sure.
Yeah.
But yes, so we basically just cut away from that. We know that exists, and we go back to the tournament.
Yeah, they forget about that real fast.
Yeah, because this exciting duel is happening.
Is this like the Super Bowl equivalent of like what we're looking at right now?
They say 10 million people are watching it on TV.
It's quite
Which is
a
a
few
lot.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of people. This duel's very bad. Yeah, so it's like the regional championship. So I guess it's sort of like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a US based tournament, I guess.
Okay.
It'd be like if after the Super Bowl, then there'd be like a World Cup version.
Yeah.
That the winner of that gets to go to.
I was gonna say the Premier League, but that doesn't apply to anyone in America, and nobody knows what I'm talking about.
That's alright.
So, as we mentioned, Rex uses dinosaur-based cards, Weevil uses bugs, because they hate each other, or they hate themselves.
Joey unimpressed with the bugs.
Very unimpressed with bugs. So Rex plays the terrible two-headed King Rex, which he announces is Rex's strongest card, and I have written here, hold up, this bitch only got 1,600 attack points.
Regional championship.
But, like...
With a player who, according to Yugi, his whole strategy is basically be overwhelmingly powerful.
Yes.
And has no actual strategy to his game.
Yeah.
And, like, Yugi says, oh, these players are on another level. And clearly not.
No.
1,600 attack points. The Dark Magician has 2,500. So we've already seen, like, cards that dramatically overshadow this. This isn't like, oh my god, it's a two-headed King Rex that has 4,000 attack points. Like, no.
Yeah.
Yugi, in his very bad duel against Kaiba, could just, like, destroy him in one turn. Which is just...
Yeah, Kaiba would have demolished these guys.
Well, I mean, Kaiba's the world champion, so, like, you gotta put some respect on his name.
Fair. I mean, he's mind crushed. But...
He is mind crushed, but he's still the world champion. Let's see. So they make it seem like, oh, this duel is over, and Weevil goes, eh, and he summons a really weak, like, bug card. But it seems like he's up to something.
He's got a little look in his face.
He's always kind of got a look in his
weird
face.
Weevil face.
Yeah. Does he have bug glasses?
Yes.
Okay. He's really just going all in on the theme, which you gotta kind of respect the hustle.
Yugi respects him. He's this great strategist, and don't underestimate him. And then
because he knows that trap cards exist.
Yeah, and then Rex Raptor doesn't have like a ton to say about him.
Yeah,
he just overpowers people.
I feel like you could tell pretty early on that Rex was destined to lose this game.
Yeah,
because they're like Weevil and Rex.
Yeah, and just Yugi's descriptions of each one.
Yeah,
it's clear.
Rex never stood a chance.
He really did not. Especially like, I can't get over this point. This is the regional championship. 10 million people are watching this, so we have to assume there were a lot of people entering this tournament, or it's like a special, like, invitational. Either way, it's so wild that somebody made it to the finals, and their strongest card has 1,600 attack points.
Very poor.
So, yeah, I just, like, I can't get over that. So, Weevil plays a little bug guy. I think it has, like, 500 attack points. He's gonna get creamed, but Weevil sets a trap card, which is the first time we see that in action. It's honestly not really exciting. It basically just stops the terrible two-headed King Rex's attack.
Very confusing, though. Very confusing. Yeah. Like, it's a game of cards.
Yeah.
You have to be able to throw a card down, but this is a surprise.
Well, so when you play a trap card in this very well-designed game...
Okay.
So, we didn't see any part before this duel, but he had to have had it, like, he had to have played it before the end of his last turn.
Face down?
Face down.
Okay.
Yes. So it's like, so you play your monster cards, and you can play them face up or face down I don't even know if they've gotten to that. No, they did in the last duel against Kaiba,
Yeah.
but they very briefly touch on it. And then, yeah, you can put cards face down that are like magic or trap cards. And so Rex activates Weevil's trap card. It stops the Rex's attack, which is a pretty uninteresting effect for a trap card. And then he equips a laser cannon on his bug, and...
Is that like a magic card?
Yes.
But just, it's not really magical, it's just
yeah.
an upgrade.
It's just like
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's an upgrade to that bug's attack, which this duel is so bad and boring, because he just wins.
Does that card only work on that bug, or could these laser cannons be... And they don't really say what that does. It's not like this
They
boosts
don't.
your attack
Yeah.
blank points or
You have
blank
to-
multiplier.
You have to assume that it's an attack boost, but they don't get into how much, how many life points either of them have.
No, it's very, very vague.
It's like Rex thinks that he's going to win and then just immediately loses.
There seems to be a theme of people playing like pretty low powered cards, and then everyone watching the duel was like, "Oh, this person's gonna lose. They're a dummy." And then they play like a card that boosts the attack, and everyone's
Yep.
like, "Wow."
That is correct.
This
Yeah.
happened like 3 times at least now.
Yes, well,
So-
I think probably at least 4.
Yeah. Every
We're
time
not
someone
very
has a
far
weak
into the
card,
show.
you know what's gonna happen. It's not like surprising.
Guess what, y'all?
You know what I thought was surprising, though, which I guess I wasn't actually surprised, but like should have been surprised, is they're in this stadium with this virtual environment. One episode earlier, no one had ever seen a virtual environment before,
That's true. Yeah.
and what real monsters? And like everyone's like, oh my god, like. Granted, they probably weren't reacting as much as they should have to this environment, but all of a sudden, this is just the norm on national TV for these tournaments.
Yep.
And that escalated very quickly from this never existed ever to this is how it's always been done, and everyone just sort of accepts that.
I mean, I think these are all, like, Kaiba Corp creations. Like, I'm pretty sure he made this.
Is that
tournament.
the company that Kaiba owns? It's
Yes.
called Kaiba Corp.
It's called Kaiba Corp.
Oh wow.
I mean, to be fair, his last name is Kaiba. If it was Seto Corp, that'd be an even, like...
That'd be wild.
That would be so good.
Welcome to Peter Corp.
But Kaiba Corp is still a very good name for that. But, like, he's still in Mind Crushed. I think we haven't really... We don't acknowledge what happened to Kaiba at all. We really...
Kaiba's life is in shambles. He's been ruined.
They did say he had dropped out.
He
Somebody
did,
said
they did.
that. I think that might be later in the
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, no, it's around this area that they mentioned that. But, like, I guess we don't even really know how much time has passed between episode 1 and this episode.
They don't really mention episode 1 that much.
Yeah, aside from,
Beyond
like,
the
that.
Pegasus coming back, that's really...
Pegasus coming back, I think they mentioned Exodia again.
Yeah.
I think they flash back to the duel. I think hopefully for Joey's sake, it hasn't been a long time, because if it's been like a few months and he's still this bad at dueling, like that, there's something not right with that boy.
And I also feel like, just with how much this game permeates this world, that if he's like, I'm bad at this game, that like a little like Wikipedia search or something, or let me just go Google how to play the basics of this game.
Okay,
Like-
we have to keep in mind, this was in the 90s. Wikipedia doesn't exist.
Fair.
I mean, these duels are being televised, so he could probably just, like, watch them and be like, oh, magic
Look at these
cards.
trap cards.
Magic
People
cards
keep using those.
Yes.
But I'm
Mm.
smarter than all of them. I'm just gonna
I'm-
pack this full of monsters.
with terrible monsters. Like, that's really my hang-up, is like, okay, that's gonna be your strategy, but you're also not gonna be good at even that.
Well, I think maybe your expectations for the cards might be a little high here, because we're looking at Yugi, who's got Gramps' card shop backing him. We got the world champion over here that's... Anytime he
That has bad cards as well.
Right. But anytime he hears the, like, super rare card brought up, the drop of a hat, he's like, I gotta go follow up on this lead. So he's probably just that's his whole life, is finding those.
I mean, Kaiba's found 3 of them. I mean, he found 4 of them,
and kept 3.
And kept 3, so that one can never be used against me. Oof. A lot of really strong decision making in this show, just kind of across the board.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Weevil wins the duel. It's not exciting. Nobody really cares. Yeah, I mentioned, like, if this is the top level, they have to be, like, 4 people playing this game in the region, but there are, like, 10 million people watching. I don't even know. Maximilian Pegasus shows up to present Weevil his trophy. Weevil is also about 2 feet tall, just like Yugi, because he is vastly overshadowed by the large man that is Maximilian Pegasus. Great hair, by the way. I just want to kind of comment on that.
It is the classic, like, middle up M-shaped part from, like, the anime of that era.
Yeah.
Covering the eye.
Yep.
It's very good. It's a very strong look. I like the coat too. Pegasus really got it going on.
He's got some style.
He's got style. He's got grace. So he announces, Maximilian Pegasus announces a new tournament at something called Duelist Kingdom, which sounds very much like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Equivalent of Firefest, which I'm very excited about.
I don't know what Firefest is.
What? Pat.
Alright.
I don't know.
Do you know what Firefest is?
I do. I don't really think I agree with your sentiment.
I find it, the idea of sending a bunch of duelists to, like, a secluded island and putting them in FEMA tents just sounds really funny to me.
Okay.
So, you know what?
Firefest was, like, this, like, guy playing this, like, music festival, but he never played a music festival before, and it was, like, awfully planned and really shoddily put together.
Yeah,
He pretty much just scanned a bunch of people out of money.
Yeah, it was, like, a bunch of kind of rich millennial kids, and they were like, we want to go to a concert in... It was the Bahamas, right?
I don't know where it was. I haven't watched the documentary.
It's very good. But yeah, and then basically just set them up in FEMA camps, and nothing that they advertised was true.
Yeah, they gave them like cheese sandwiches, and there was like I don't. Was there?
How long was this?
Well, it was supposed to be a weekend thing, and then everyone showed up, and they were like, so it lasted basically a night. It's very fun. You should look into it.
Alright, we're getting off topic.
Yeah. We're getting off topic. So, Pegasus is seeking to attract the rest of the Millennium items. So far we know...
It's just that in the limo.
Yeah, whatever. He's not just, like, on stage being like, magic exists, y'all. Come to my island.
Come to my island.
Yeah. So far we know Yugi, the Millennium Puzzle, but the rest are a mystery to us.
How many did they say there were? Like 7?
7?
Yep.
So there's 5 on the loose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Presumably owned by different people. And they show the Millennium items in that weird, like, before credits pre-roll.
Yeah.
So you can't really tell what they are.
Yeah. But we know they exist. They're apparently very powerful. They come from ancient Egypt, so that's a thing.
In a shadow realm version.
Well, we're gonna get into that.
I said that in the beginning.
Oh yeah, the Shadow Games. But we're gonna get more in detail about. Well, not really. We are going to know that the Shadow Games existed. Anyway, so they cut back home. Yugi finally opens the package. Inside, there's a glove, some stars, and a VHS tape.
I was the first time I watched it twice. Last time. The first time I watched it, I forgot about the glove and the stars. And the second time, I was like, oh, those things are in there. What if those are relevant? They weren't, at least in this episode.
They definitely weren't, and they're not well explained at all. They will come into play. They'll probably explain it in, like, the next episode, but... Again, much like many of the things in this show, we know they exist, and not much else.
Yes.
You know, it's a slow burn.
Some of it's quite rapid. We are back up and running a little bit here.
Alright, so we were talking about how everything is magic, and speaking of which, Maximilian Pegasus pulls Yugi into a strange realm. Everything goes kind of dark. Yugi mentions everything's growing dark and cold and the others aren't moving.
This is where the show takes a very rapid twist here.
It really...
It seems like time is totally stopped.
Yep.
Pegasus has the power to stop time.
He's frozen time for everyone but him and Yugi and his 15-minute timer.
Yeah. He's also talking through a VHS tape, which I don't think we've given enough play. It's pretty wild. Yeah. We find out that
he's imbued into that tape.
Yeah. Somehow.
Yes. This show is weird. We find out that this is called the Shadow Realm, which is something that will come into play a lot.
I would assume this is going to establish quite the theme of the show.
Yes. So yeah, everyone is frozen except for Yugi, who is brought into the Shadow Realm to do a 15-minute duel with Maximilian Pegasus. He shouts, Yu-Gi-Oh! Gets big.
This is classic Yu-Gi-Oh!
I still don't know what that means.
It's just his name and O.
It's a little off topic, but every time I write Yu-Gi-Oh! When I'm taking notes, I spell it a different way. So I never quite remember. I wrote it like Youghio today, and then I was like, that's not correct.
I think the canonical spelling of the title of the show is YU-GI-OH.
Yeah.
But
it's tough to remember. There's so many vowels.
There are a lot of vowels, and it doesn't mean anything, which is kind of the important thing.
It's very strange that that's, even exists at all.
Because, I mean, we'll find out later in the episode, like, Pegasus doesn't have to use any special word to activate his special powers. I feel like he's just
running.
I feel like he's just flexing, honestly. He just, like, wants a catchphrase and is just, like, desperately trying to make it work.
Let's fit the name of this card game somewhere into the show in a loud, obnoxious fashion.
But in the show,
it's Duel Monsters.
It's Duel Monsters. It's not Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, but the name of the show for like making money in like the real world. Like the writers are like, we need to do this because this is the name of the card game for some reason.
It's like if Ash like threw out the Pokeball and was just like, Pokemon.
Yeah, but they sort of do that.
No, but they
don't say that, but like
it's if they're gonna do that.
But the word Pokemon comes up like a billion times an episode.
Well, because that's like a real thing in that word, in that world. Yu-Gi-Oh's not a real thing.
No, it's not.
Like he just decides to flex.
But that's like the difference between this show and normal shows. They just do whatever they want.
I guess I always thought Yugi's like full name was Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, yeah, we discussed this last episode because I thought that too, and I was wrong.
It's Yugi Mojo,
yeah. And I assume those are the two names, like first and last name.
Yeah. Anyway, so he get big again, and they commence their duel.
Wait, does he get big?
Oh yeah, his voice changes.
I don't remember that. Okay.
Oh, somebody wasn't paying much attention. You might be confused because Yugi's dueling in a squatting position that looks really uncomfortable. Like, they're in the Shadow Realm, you could at least make him like a shadow chair or something. Like, he's still like
playing. He has all the power moves, dude. He's like...
He does, because he's sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yugi's just like squatting on the floor of the Shadow Realm. Like... I mean, he was already at a disadvantage right from there. And so...
And you expect him to get demolished in this.
Yeah. Oh man, this duel. Okay. So it quickly becomes apparent that Pegasus can, like, see Yugi's cards, it seems like.
Obviously because of the eye.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, it's very clear he, like, you see the eye through...
Well, you see a reflection of one of the cards. So there's a part where he sees like a reflection of like the card in his eye.
Yep.
But then he goes and like picks that specific card out.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna play this card that I just saw in the reflection.
Do you think
that
this piece, this Millennium Eye, has replaced his actual eye, or is like sitting over it like a monocle?
I think it's replaced it.
I think it's replaced
I think he's like popped it in the socket.
It seems like quite the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta be committed. You gotta be committed to be good at this.
Pegasus.
He created Duel Monsters.
Yeah.
Well,
you haven't created Duel Monsters.
Let's not we're making statements right now because we're about to segue here.
So, yeah, I mean, it's very clearly the power of his Millennium Eye. Like, I don't know why they don't just explain it right here, because it's very obvious to everyone who is not, well, okay, children, but whatever.
Children. It's pretty obvious.
Maybe I'm underestimating children even. I know every move you'll make before you can make it. So, I don't know, this duel is just like...
It's kind of a mess.
It's a mess.
Because, I mean, I'm sure you'll go through the little, like, play-by-play here, but I feel like the rules of, like, when you're allowed to play cards just go out the window in this match. Like...
That is going to be my next point. So, Pegasus sees Yugi's dragon card, and he's like, I know you're gonna play it. So Yugi draws the card, so it's clearly his turn.
Yeah.
Pegasus has not played anything on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pegasus just says, I know you got your dragon card, so I'm gonna counter it with this card, even though it's your turn, and just, like, captures the dragon card. So I've written here the rules. Fuck him.
Well, it seems like that card that he countered with was almost made for that specific circumstance.
Well,
I think his deck, if he's got this, like, this power, his deck's probably stacked with cards like that. Where it's like, oh, are you going to play blank? I've got all these, like, counter... He's probably got a shit ton of trap cards in there.
Yeah. But it's not a trap card, because he hasn't played it.
I think what he did is he was like... I'm just going to play this first. You didn't even play his card yet.
No.
And could have been like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's the thing, is he could have just been, I'll swap it out or something.
Yeah.
Let me not do this now that you said that.
Yeah.
Because it pulls the card from out of his hand, which I assume is how the card works, but you can't just do that whenever you want.
Pegasus can.
Pegasus can.
There's a lot of things that you would say Pegasus is breaking the rules here just in life. Like, just kidnapped this guy into the Shadow Realm. And
listen, he's a powerful man.
Force him into this game of cards.
Over a VHS tape.
Over a VHS tape somehow.
Because he wants all of the Millennium items.
I mean... They sound like impressive items.
They sound cool. I mean,
His is way better than Yugi's, though.
Oh, yeah, because Yugi's is just like, well, I get big and good at a card game.
Well...
And even that's debatable.
I think that there's going to be more to this Millennium Puzzle than we know, and it's going to be like, unlocking some more powers in the future here. There's no way that's the only thing it can do.
I mean,
is
it's
make
a
him
puzzle.
taller and change his voice to make him be older a bit.
August, any theories?
Well, my theory is that Pegasus is sort of like going to try to gather all people of the Millennium Puzzles together.
Yeah.
And they're all going to duel.
That is a great theory.
That's my theory.
And you said he's hoping that they'll all show up to his little island event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, pretty much explicitly his plan.
Well, they say in the very beginning, little, like, surprise Shadow Egypt thing. At the end of it, they say, and Yugi with his Millennium Puzzle destined to protect the games or something like that, and you're like, what?
Yeah, I didn't even touch on this. There was like an ancient pharaoh who sealed away the power because the ancient Egyptians were gonna just... Oh no, this is actually next.
Yeah, he talks about...
Yeah.
Pegasus gives you more information, like, right here.
Yeah,
but even at the very beginning, they say, in that little, like, opening thing, they say, Yugi destined to protect I guess... what happened before that he's going to get into right now from happening again.
Yeah.
And I just feel like your ability to go from age 6 to 15 isn't enough power to do that. So he's going to have to come up with some additional resources from this puzzle.
I mean, listen, he gets pretty good at duel monsters.
I mean, this eye allows him to communicate via VHS tape, freeze time,
Yep.
bring people into shadow realms,
Yep.
And an additional, very critical power that I won't spoil yet.
Yes, we will get into the final power of the
But all of the above noticeably more advantageous than aging 6 to 10 years.
Listen, it's his puzzle.
A puzzle?
Like pieces? So, yeah, we get into an exposition dump in the middle of this 15-minute duel, which seems like Yugi should be like, can we just, like, hurry this up? But
it's pretty interesting information.
Yeah.
It's gripping.
well,
If you're Yugi right now, you're gonna interrupt this monologue that's about to take place
It's fine. He has some backstory about his puzzle.
Yeah,
that's true.
He doesn't know.
So
magic exists.
Yeah.
he knows magic exists because he becomes 4 feet taller.
That's the thing is, how much does Yugi already know about this puzzle?
Basically,
I've got some strong theories about Gramps. I'll wait till the
Okay.
end.
interesting. I love theories.
Did Gramps give Yugi the puzzle?
Oh,
Is that where it came from?
I
It
think-
doesn't say that, but without question, Gramps is heavily involved
In this puzzle.
in this puzzle.
So we find out, as we were kind of alluding to before, that Pegasus did not actually invent duel monsters. He stole it from the ancient Egyptian shadow games,
Mm-hmm.
which were fought with real monsters and real magic.
Millenniums ago, centuries ago. I mean, are we
I mean,
talking about like?
millennia.
Are we
yeah.
talking about like
I think
real
it's ancient Egypt.
Earth, ancient Egypt
Yes.
versus 1995 or whatever this was?
Yes.
I believe so.
So that's like the time frame we're looking at here.
Yes, yes. So we are looking at millennia apart. Let's see. So yeah, they almost destroyed the entire world. I guess we're just kind of supposed to just roll with that info.
With, I mean, magical powers during the duels. It sounds like.
I'm assuming
Yes.
the monsters. I was thinking the monsters from the duels were like running them up and like destroying things.
I was thinking it was like people were just dueling with such wild abandon and so
They're
constantly
just like
that like all of the like spells and damaging attacks were literally just like tearing cities apart.
yeah, like destroying things.
and
I mean,
nobody had the like responsibility to be like, maybe we should just stop having these
we should
duels.
stop doing this.
But maybe they are just running amok. They don't really say.
Yeah,
they're very not clear about what is happening. They're just kind of like, all right, this thing happened before and it almost destroyed the world. Deal with that.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Typical Yu-Gi-Oh fashion.
Yeah. Pegasus chuckles a lot during this duel and it's all very good.
I love his mannerisms in this duel.
It's so good.
His voice is great.
His
dude.
voice is great.
Yeah.
The way he says, Yugi boy.
He says that like 4 times.
Every time.
Every time
So
it's
good,
like
yeah.
perfect.
Every single time. Speaking of voice actors, just like going for it. Very, very good performance from Maximilian Pegasus.
High quality.
Yeah. So, actually, Pegasus makes a point. You are so completely ignorant of the power of your Millennium Puzzle.
He did say that.
So, kind of trends towards your theory that there's more to this puzzle than being good at a card game, sort of.
I'm not even sure that is even tied to it at all yet.
Well,
It's really just his age.
he get big.
You get big.
Big Yugi. We get more exposition, so yeah, the Pharaoh, or a Pharaoh, locked away the magic and he locked the power away in 7 Millennium items, so we have to assume that these items are horrifically powerful if all of the power that was going to destroy the world was locked away in 7 items.
And in typical plot convenience fashion, that in some way you bring these items together, you could unlock the power.
Oh yeah.
When
Yeah.
really, if it's just like, if you have the power to make these 7 items, maybe just make it so that it wouldn't happen if they were all together. Like, that'd be fine. It's plot convenience right
That's
there.
like the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah. Dude, it is like the Infinity.
Which I also kind of, when I saw that glove,
Hey,
For a sec, I was
spoilers,
like-
no spoilers. What?
no, the glove that shows up
Everybody
when
knows the glove, yeah.
when Pegasus like sends in that box.
That looks like it. Yeah.
I was like, that's
Yeah.
the Infinity Gauntlet.
The episode where like Maximilian Pegasus kills half of the known universe is pretty lit.
Wow.
We'll,
Okay.
we'll get to that one.
That's
Spoilers.
that's a spoiler for a movie that came out like 8 months ago. So
It was a year ago. It was a year ago.
Second
Nobody's watching this video. So we're not spoiling anyone.
I'm gonna share this with everybody.
yeah.
They probably won't get this far
for
into the video,
Avengers
but like 4 minutes in, they're probably like,
Well, alright.
Alright, I'm gonna put this one on in the background. Just gonna hit that mute button. It seems like they're having fun.
close out. Don't drain my battery.
That's what I would do. Yeah, so the weird eye lets him see the cards in Yugi's hand. This is where, like, the skeleton shows up in his eye.
Yep.
And it looks like Photoshopped. Like, it doesn't look like a real shot from a television show, but here we are. And then Yugi,
It doesn't even look all that much like the actual card.
no, it's just like a skeleton.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't... Like, when he's holding the hand in his hand, I was like, it sort of looks like that one.
But, like, it's implied that Yugi sees this and is like, okay.
And then he pulls the card.
Yeah, and then
Pulls
he's
the
like-
same card.
He's about to.
He's
Yeah.
about to, and then he changes his mind.
He figures it out.
He figures it out, which honestly, like, kind of good on Yugi. Like, this is it's not a great play, but it's kind of the only play that he has.
He's so confident.
He's very
As soon as he
confident.
figures this out, he's like,
Alright, I figured...
this game is mine.
Yeah.
You can read my mind and or whatever. You can see what I see from my cards and know everything I have, but I've figured out that you can do that, so this is over. I'm gonna take you down.
Yeah, considering, like, how volatile a strategy this is.
Because he could have pulled a trap card or like a magic card or something and just like...
Okay. Oops, I lost.
Yeah, like...
But we should explain what the strategy actually is. He basically just, like, pulls whatever card is at the top of his deck and just plays it on the field without
seeing it
looking
first.
at it. So he lucks out.
It's just gambling.
Yes.
He's got the heart of the cards.
He's got the heart of the cards.
So he can sort of will whatever card he wants.
He can cheat.
Like, I think
Yeah.
that, you know, I'm sure you're about to say this, but he plays the Dark Magician.
The Dark Magician.
I'm pretty sure he did that on purpose. That wasn't like, he was like, heart of the cards power, Dark Magician. Like, he knew.
He felt it. Yes, he summons the Dark Magician. And again, it's a pretty... They're not doing right by the Dark Magician in these first 2 episodes, considering it's, like, Yugi's signature card, like, it's his favorite card.
They get sort of beat twice in a row.
And it just gets, like, he doesn't do anything, and then he gets bodied.
You get a little bit more appreciation for its stats, though, when it's not up against, like, 3 blue eyes white dragons.
'Cause it's
Because, like, now that we've seen, like, the little, like, bug eye and dinosaur boy fight, like,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, okay, like, this is actually, like, a pretty decent card.
Yeah, it's got 2,500 attack points. I forgot to mention that Pegasus steals Yugi's dragon card that we were talking about before and summons it on his side of the field. Dark Magician bodies that card. So now Yugi's in the life lead. He's got more life points than Pegasus does. I think it's like 1,500 to 1,200. Maximilian Pegasus, I'm just going to call him Pegasus, summons the fearsome faceless mage. Yugi's very confident because this card looks like a punk. He mentions, and I hate this line, the Dark Magician is one of the strongest magic cards in the game. Incorrect.
No,
It's not a magic card.
Yeah.
It is a monster card. He's magical, but he's not a magic card. You should know this, Yugi. Ah!
So frustrated.
I'm so frustrated because they just don't care.
There's a lot of frustrating things in this
Yeah.
show.
That line just it's just so lackadaisical.
It is.
They just don't. Okay, moving on. So I mentioned Yugi has a life lead. This is a time duel.
This is where my problem
Yeah.
with this duel comes in.
Yep. I think I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
Yugi could just sit on this life lead and win.
Exactly. He is already stalling a little bit.
Yeah.
And then look at the clock, and the clock's counting down.
Yeah.
Presumably, Pegasus can't go until Yugi plays the card. So Yugi can just be like, screw it.
Yeah.
Like,
He could literally, like, this duel is very poorly thought out.
yeah.
Because it's not even like there's a set time limit on when your turn has to be taken. And even if there was, like, these dudes are just expositioning to each other the entire time and, like, not
Yeah.
playing. it's a 15-minute duel that comprises like 3 turns or something. So at this point, I think there's like 5 minutes on the clock. Yugi could totally just be like, tell me.
Yeah, you just start talking.
Yeah.
And waste all the time.
Or just not do anything and have no pretense about winning this duel in a way that was not defined as cheating.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not a great play from Yugi because he's just like, I'm going to keep playing even though I have the lead.
Yeah. Yes.
So, Yugi's not... He oscillates between like being like pretty smart and having good strategy and just being the dumbest person in the world.
He's so competent right now.
He's very
He's
confident.
got that like I can do anything look in his face.
Yes. So Pegasus summons the fearsome faceless mage and combines it with a magic card, the Eye of Illusion.
Very big.
Very vague. Yugi launches an attack with the Dark Magician. Doesn't seem to do anything.
No.
So, that's strange. Yugi thinks basically nothing of it. And decides to summon the Celtic Guardian, who is Link. It's just Link.
It was definitely Link.
It's 100% Link. That was always like one of my favorite cards as a kid, because I'm just like, oh, it's Link. It's cool. Except he's not cool. Yugi just runs headfirst into Pegasus' trick. Turns out the Eye of Illusion has controlled the Dark Magician, so the Dark Magician just destroys the Celtic Guardian, and, like...
In the form of the, like, other thing.
Well, he's got, like, the little weird eye symbol over his chest, and his eyes are, like...
Yeah.
But at first he's like the mage thing.
Yeah.
And Yugi's like,
oh,
what?
That he doesn't have dark magic attack. And it's like, oh, it was the Dark Magician. But, like...
Shock.
Presumably, you should have seen it. I don't even... The Eye of Illusion, it sounds like it would just, like, redirect the attack, but apparently it's controlling the other card, which is, like, a really powerful card. I don't... This is a bad duel.
It's interesting.
So, Yugi has basically not a ton of life points, but he's noticed that the Faceless Mage is vulnerable.
I did not understand this at all. Is there a series of, like, monsters blocking for other monsters? And, like,
No.
what do you mean vulnerable? Like, that didn't make any sense to me.
It's vulnerable because it doesn't have a ton of attack points. I think it's like 11 or 1200.
Okay.
And you can choose whichever monster you want to attack. So even if the Dark Magician's being controlled, like, he doesn't have to attack it. So he can summon a card and attack on the first turn. And again, in the rules of this game, you can just summon whatever you want, whenever you want. So he summons the Summoned Skull, which is such a cool card. It's like a big, beefy skeleton man with horns and wings. And the sound it makes is, it's an angry cat. It's a big, beefy skeleton man.
Sound.
Yeah, I didn't...
He goes like, "Eh." It's almost like a Weevil thing. Like, it just sounds like an angry
Probably
cat.
the same voice actor. They were
Yeah.
like, we paid you to show up. Can you just do one of these angry cat noises for this card while you're here?
It's just like, it sounds like it should be like...
Take a gift basket with you if you do.
Yeah, have some free cards.
It's just very ill-fitting, because it's like it's a cool design, it's like, it's buff and it's a skeleton, it shoots lightning, and then it just sounds like a cat, and it's like, shouldn't it be like a growl or something? Maybe I'm nitpicking, but I'm very let down. I'm very disappointed.
It was a cool card, though.
It is a cool card. So he quickly summons it, there are about 3 seconds on the clock, the attack's about to go through, and then time runs out.
Right as he's about to hit.
Yep. And so Yugi loses the duel. And as retribution for losing the duel, Pegasus decides, I'm gonna steal your grandpa's soul.
This was a shocker.
Yeah.
He imprisons him in the VHS.
This was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
In the TV, at least.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Or the tape, or in the Shadow Realm, or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's like banging on the TV, like,
Yeah.
Yugi.
And like his mortal coil is slumped over on the couch.
Yeah, I was a little surprised it wasn't like that. All of him got trapped in
Yeah.
there.
No.
It was And it wasn't like we're just using the word soul. Like he
His
says in the
essence.
show
Yeah.
that I've taken his soul. Like they say that and you're like, what?
Because the stakes are not set up before this duel at all.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is kind of weird. It's like a shadow game. Alright, well, this seems pretty inconsequential. Like, you just lost. What's gonna happen? Your grandpa's soul is gone.
It's and like even the Shadow Realm thing, like they talk about like all of this is real. The magic is real. The monsters are real. There's magic in the cards, and like there's a little bit going on because of the weird like heart of the cards thing from the first episode.
One getting tall and reading minds.
But all of a sudden it's like, does every card that everyone in the world has have the potential to like come to life?
Yes. Yes.
This is quite the leap
That is
they've
pretty
taken
wild.
in the last like 5 minutes of this show.
There are a lot of leaps that this episode takes, hence its reckless pace.
Yes.
Because if we look at where this episode started, we're in school, we're having fun, Joey's bad at dueling, to the last minute, like the last 30 seconds of the episode, oh, my grandpa's soul got stolen.
He's gone.
He is gone. He's trapped in a TV?
Or potentially just the Shadow Realm, and that's
Or
like
the
a
Shadow
portal to it or something.
Yeah. So...
Don't really know.
Don't break that TV. You need to keep that thing around.
So kind of discounts your episode 1 theory of, we're gonna go on some adventures.
Our predictions for how this episode would go
Yeah.
were not... I mean, who's gonna predict this? Shadow Realms and Grandpa soul stealing.
I mean, it is the second time in 2 episodes, the first 2 episodes, that Grandpa has been kidnapped.
Yeah, Grandpa. He's having a rough go of this.
The Grandpa kidnapping ratio on this show is very high. Probably the highest I've ever seen.
Hey, Joe.
Grandpa's such a relevant character. He's like the most relevant character other than
Grandpa's
like
the best character.
Like Joey's like when he like compliments Joey on like doing well at the training, Joey starts like crying. And
Yeah, people love Grandpa.
like this is like
yeah.
my father to me, Gramps, and then Gramps just lines it away from him.
Grandpa just gets Grandpa gets iced.
Grandpa does just go right past him.
Yes, there's a lot that happens there.
I mean, if you're gonna kidnap somebody, like, are you gonna kidnap Tristan? No. Because nobody would go to a duelist island to get Tristan back.
No, but again,
We just kind of write that one off.
I don't think it was even just like who's the most important to Yugi. I think that there's a relationship between Grandpa and Maximilian Pegasus.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you have any...
Well, we're kind of at the end of the recap a little bit here.
Oh, yeah.
So I could go into... So... we gotta assume that from ancient Egypt to now...
Yes. The 90s, the most advanced age.
Maximilian Pegasus, the creator of this game in the public eye...
Yes.
but knower of the things
Mm-hmm.
that transpired in the past in these puzzle, Millennium artifacts.
Yes.
But that information, either we've already seen some age-powering, options from these artifacts. Maybe he's just lived this long.
Oh.
Right?
That's interesting.
And
Possibility. Now, the Millennium Puzzle, potentially, Grandpa has had, and also has lived this long. And I anticipate, so this is getting a little outlandish, but the show is pretty outlandish. When the original Pharaoh made the devices,
the Millennium items,
the
please.
Millennium artifacts, items? Did I
Items.
say artifacts? I don't know. Items.
Please respect them. So, your intense and passionate grandpa rant got a little cut off, but I think
We got most of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's either the original or it's sort of passed down to him through the lineage, this guardian of this Millennium item. There are additional of these throughout the world. Pegasus, again, either the original or through some family lineage or like hostile takeover, also the case. Somewhere there's a location like a temple where there's more information on this stuff. And that is like the location. You look at me like I'm crazy. But it's a crazy show.
I'm listening.
And I think that's where some information about like who's the Guardians, that kind of stuff, has been so long that all that information's lost. And this information has made its way to Pegasus. I don't think he was the original Guardian because he's not sure what's going on. He knows these are out there. He doesn't really have all the information.
Yeah.
But he's got some information. So I think he probably got some of that from this temple. Hostile takeovered the one he could find, which was the eye.
Yes.
And now he knows through this temple about the prophecies of if you can bring them all together, that it will.
Well, I think he's trying to. I think like Pegasus somehow needs to like defeat each like person in a duel, so he can like take their
item
puzzle piece
Yeah.
somehow, and then he's gonna like put them together and use it for his own nefarious deeds.
What do you think Pegasus's endgame is?
World takeover, man.
Well,
Domination.
I think he wants to unlock all the magic.
Yeah.
And they don't really exactly say what that means, but I think he likes the idea of these cards not being just cards.
Yeah. Well, you can make money off of that.
And
Yeah.
I think he's going to succeed.
Well, I think the cards are really just to draw out the puzzle piece holders or the item holders.
Right. Well, in like the earlier Shadow games, or whatever they call them,
Yes.
the
The Shadow games.
It sounds like these monsters were just real monsters, and that
Yeah.
there were no
Yes.
cards involved at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if like later in the show the card will sort of turn into more of like a Pokeball version of the card where it's holding a monster that's like a real monster that can come out whenever you want when you throw the card, but then there's not enough like magic for it to like stay out, so it's to go back in its little card.
Yeah.
Sort of my hypothesis is
Okay.
that that's going to be the case. I don't know if this virtual environment is going to... Because right now, to see the monsters, you have to be in
You have
either
to
a
be in the
virtual
virtual.
environment or a shadow realm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that that's going to change.
Interesting. So that's kind of the long game. I mean,
My predictions got more outlandish than last time. Because I felt like if I was just
you
like...
kind of have to readjust.
Just like, oh yeah, they're going to be sad Grandpa's gone. Maybe, they'll have another time in the classroom and they'll figure out a strategy to, like, go try and get him back. That's just not enough. Like,
I'm assuming the next episode is going to focus on them trying to get Grandpa back.
yes.
Like,
Now, how long do you think that's gonna take?
I think that is going to
not
take
long.
brief
Yeah.
amounts of time.
Okay.
I think they're going to be like, oh, duel, Grandpa.
Like
Oh,
1 to 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see Grandpa being gone for that long.
No.
Or,
Yeah,
okay,
I mean, he's
it's
too
either
integral.
he's not gone for that long, or he's just gone forever.
Well,
or they're just like,
well,
"Yeah, Grandpa."
he's in the opening theme a lot, so I think
Okay.
he's going to stick around for at least this season. But I could see him being like the Obi-Wan Kenobi, where he's like there at the beginning of things, but then after he sort of like has his backstory, which I'm sure is ridiculous, revealed. I'm very confident that Grandpa has a ridiculous backstory. There's much more to Gramps than meets the eye. I could be wrong. There's a lot that I've been wrong with so far. So. But as it stands right now, that's like the thing I'm most confident about is that Gramps. But there's a lot more to Gramps than meets the eye.
So, yeah, I mean, the way that this show has opened up, almost literally anything can happen, because it starts pretty innocuously, and then just absolutely drives off of a cliff in this episode. So, yeah, anything can happen. It could get even wilder from here.
It
Who
could.
can say?
It's very wild right now. Very wild. Already.
We are in free fall, basically.
Yeah. I think I said the other day to you, it feels like if a show has been on for like 6 or 7 seasons,
Yeah.
and all the like formulaic, like normal plot ideas have like run out,
Yep.
and you're like, whatever, we'll just throw this Shadow Realm, soul-stealing, like, who cares anymore? Like, let's go right into that in episode 2.
Yeah.
And it's just like, are you okay with that? You better be.
You better be, you dumb child. Yeah, there's something really bold about a show just so willing to jump the shark. Episode 2.
The pacing in the show is insane.
Yeah.
It's off the charts.
Because even the first 3/4 of this episode are like pretty slow pace, and then it's like, oh god, we need to have a shadow duel and steal Grandpa's soul in 5 minutes.
Up until they popped in the VHS tape, I was like, this is going as how I planned.
Yes.
Probably we'll see like Seto Kaiba like knock at the door, and that'll be like the surprise ending of the show, and he'll be like, I want to join your friendship circle or something stupid like that, and like maybe a cutaway
to like marker on his hand.
Yeah, and like a cutaway to like Maximilian Pegasus like in his like office, not doing any soul stealing or or Shadow Realm, enacting situations. It was just gonna be. That's what I expected.
because the way they set it up in season 1 or in episode 1, they introduce Pegasus, and it almost makes it seem like, oh yeah, he's gonna be like kind of the overarching villain, like he's gonna comment on the goings on.
Yeah, it'll be like a mysterious for like the
exactly. He's like
first
pulling
episode.
Yeah, he's like pulling the strings behind the scenes, and they don't even know Pegasus exists until like the very end.
Yeah, he's gonna stay a shadowy figure for some time, Pegasus until like 10 episodes in.
Yeah, you would think like the final of the season would be like Yu-Gi-Oh! Dueling Pegasus, and then he loses and the grandpa gets stolen. Then you're like, oh boy, season 2.
Pegasus instead runs full sprint into the plot, drop kicks his way through the window and says, "What's up? I'm stealing your grandpa's soul. I've got an island. Peace. Come meet me, idiots."
Somehow.
There's
no... Maybe there's directions in
at
the
the end of
glove
the
or something.
episode.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, like,
Here's
if
a
we're
glove
already
and some
here in episode
stars.
2,
Yeah.
it's gonna be insane.
There's a difference between, like, introducing the stakes and just absolutely rocketing into space.
Them. Yeah.
This is episode 2 of a series that goes 5 or 6 seasons. This is where
This is 2.
This is where it starts.
And I mean, I have no idea exactly where it goes from here in long term, but like the pictures that I've seen on the internet are like Yugi wearing like chains and shit, and like almost like biker outfits, and like it's like, what the hell goes on with this show?
Yugi definitely embraces kind of like...
There is a show where they duel on bikes.
Yes.
There's like a spin-off series.
Yeah. I'm not surprised now. If you said that 2 episodes ago, I would have said, that's not true.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. No, they're on bikes. They drive faster to summon more powerful monsters. That's about... It's also in like a post-apocalyptic future.
Probably because this one
has been destroyed by
the shadow monsters.
The dual monster.
That's a very interesting... It's an interesting theory. Now the dual monsters are on the motorcycle bike wheels.
They're on the loose. The only way to keep them from catching you is to drive really, really fast.
Ooh. Such an interesting theory. That we would be, no joke, probably about 700 episodes away from finding out.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Because, don't worry, there's a series in the middle.
Of course,
wow.
Of course.
About dual school.
Dual school.
Dual school.
Dual school, alright.
Yeah.
Too cool for dual school.
I don't know if we'll get 700 episodes in, we'll see.
I don't even know if I...
678 of our podcast.
I don't even know if I want to talk about this too much, but, like, when I was a youngin', and I saw this new series of Yu-Gi-Oh! I was like, okay, they're gonna like lower the stakes. It's just gonna be schools. It's gonna kind of like focus on the duels and like the interpersonal relationships. Show similarly drives off a cliff in like episode 3. It's like, what was even the point? There's like mind control. Yeah.
I want like a fun high school like intrigue anime,
Right.
with fun characters who also happen to play.
No, you want crazy
Cool.
Yu-Gi-Oh nonsense.
I want souls being stolen. I want ancient evils being unleashed upon the world.
I think that's going to happen. To some extent. I think it's still going to be trapped in the cards. Because they want to still be able to sell cards to people.
Yes.
But that the cards will no longer require for 3D actual, like, fighting
Mm-hmm.
a virtual environment or a shadow realm. That you'll be able to do that in, like, the normal world.
I mean, what if the world becomes the Shadow Realm?
That could be the way they get there. Possible.
It's possible.
Some way, though, the cards will turn into Pokeballs, basically.
Okay. An interesting theory.
Yeah.
I think this is just about wraps it up for episode 2.
Heart of the Cards.
Heart of the cards.
Heart of the
Heart of the
Cards.
Heart of
We
the
are
cards.
42 minutes into this entertainment franchise, and here we
Sponsors,
are. Sponsors,
drop us a note.
Yes.
give
You
us
know where to find us.
give us money. I don't think they do. I don't. Nobody knows where to find us.
Just in the comments section,
Yeah,
I'd
just
like
drop
to
a
give you
comment.
money. I'd like to provide you with funds.
Totally cool.
We are willing to wear different apparel in
Oh, yeah.
exchange
Yeah.
for money.
Yeah.
I would
Drink different
do.
beverages in exchange for financial compensation.
I
I will
would really
do.
do anything in exchange for money. So
Yeah,
That's
this
on
show
the
could take
table.
a wildly different
yeah.
turn. We're ready.
We're ready.
We just money now.
Yeah.
Thank you. In advance.
All right. Any final thoughts on the Yu-Gi-Oh, on the duel monsters?
It's
I
been
feel
a
like-
surprise.
Yeah.
It's been a roller
It's
coaster.
really
It's been
always fresh.
yeah.
Always unexpected.
And very good. I mean, yeah, it's been a good plot introduction to this wild world. Some really great performances just out of the gate. You know, we talked about it, but God, Pegasus,
He's great.
he's so good.
Love
Such a good
Pegasus.
villain.
Maximilian Pegasus was such a ridiculous
so
name.
cool.
It's so good.
And the name of this episode wasn't it like "Drop the Gauntlet" or something like
Yeah.
that. Like, what a great name for this
That's
episode.
like a rap album title, like
Dude.
Drop the Gauntlet.
I'm-
There's that gauntlet.
Pegasus'
thing
mixtape dropping soon.
there.
That's gonna be fire.
It's gonna be flames.
Yeah.
All right. So before this cuts off again, I think we should sign off. Thank you for watching, or not. I don't know.
Follow me on Twitter.
Don't follow him on Twitter.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
That's
Do you
too
have a
much.
Twitter?
If you want to know my thoughts on everything political, just follow me on Twitter. Very opinionated.
Regrettable move.
Yeah.
Alright, and next time we will be back probably discussing just episode 3. I guess we'll figure it out. If
Depends
it's
on the episode.
Yeah,
we
if
keep
it's-
it fast and loose. We can really
Yeah.
discuss anything.
we could do
Next, it's
we could do anything.
like Yu-Gi-Oh. It's pretty unpredictable
It
what we're
is.
gonna do
It
next
is.
episode. So
Right. Well, keep an eye out
Keep
for
on
whatever. I don't know. Give us money.
Give us
Thanks.